everybody here to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. My name is Andrew Valentin, and I hope you're all having a fantastic Thursday. We're, of course, coming to you live here from the Illinois Media School here in Lombard, Illinois. Again, wherever it is for you, ladies and gentlemen, Darren, I hope it is just right. And with me, once again, he's the little stinker who just can't seem to stop himself.
No idea what you're talking about.
Exactly, but he is a oh-so-beautiful man, as always. Mr. Drew Gwillem. Drew, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm really tired today. I'm feeling a bit loopy now. Caught a bit of energy from the pregame antics.
Yes,
per usual.
That
but,
was
yeah. I'm ready. I'm ready for bed.
You know what? I understand what you're saying, and I hope that you, for me, even still get more sleep because I know I will not. So I hope
you poor bastard, you.
You do what you got to do.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you're still standing.
It amazes me sometimes myself, but I'm here. I'm happy to be here.
You're Drew Gwillem.
I am Drew. I am Drew Gwillem, of course. With us, of course, too, is our man himself, Mr. TJ Knacker, doing his thing in the back. TJ, how are you doing?
Whoa, that's a really nice set of knackers.
Thank you. I'm doing all right. Nice little fun day. A little dreary, but hey.
And you're
fun.
a set of knackers.
Yeah, I am a set of knackers. Love this two-shot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're like really, really smart, huh? Like really smart? Like really? You look really smart.
The show is already gone. You can tell we're all
You
kind
never
of
know what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, so we're all here. It's been a crazy day. Obviously, if you're not seeing us on Facebook, I don't apologize because I don't know what we did wrong, but we had some technical issues.
Apparently.
We're trying to get it figured out. We will see. We're waiting for an answer to come from Facebook, which may never come, but we will see what happens. But for the meantime, we are still on the wonderful.
They're just I don't know. I don't get
over 5 years of doing this.
I don't get their plan.
I don't either.
We're gonna just blast Facebook for an hour.
Yeah, probably. But we're on wonderful Twitch and YouTube still, folks. So
yeah, they're cooler than you, Facebook. Sorry, Mark Zuckerberg, you suck.
Yeah, you definitely do for this one, man. Like you really bit the dust with this. But either way, folks, I hope you guys are ready for this one because we've got a little bit of something to talk about here.
It's a wild day. Since yesterday, thinking, Kyrie Irving's gonna be probably the biggest trade.
Yeah, yes.
Not
yesterday. Really, we set it up for nothing big will happen. Like I agreed with Tom. Tom was the one that's like, I don't think any more stars will get traded. We had a question that came through from our guy Ernesto that was like, do you think any stars will get moved? We were kind of like, nah. You were kind of, I don't know.
I really don't know
because who knew? And I was kind of like, I don't think so. It just seems like a lot of the smaller guys. But let's just start it off with, because at 1 o'clock in the morning, I think Woj planned this, by the way. At 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm sure every person's phone goes off on Twitter, on ESPN, whatever you're linked to. You probably got a message somewhere saying Kevin Durant, one of the biggest stars in the NBA, the big star, the only star in Brooklyn right now, is no longer there. He is officially, finally, a Phoenix Sun. After what was like 2 years of the Suns pursuing him, it finally happened. The Phoenix Suns have traded for Kevin Durant. The trade was a lot. Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, Cameron Johnson, 4 first-round picks in 2023, 2025, 2027, and 2029, and a pick swap in 2028. That's a lot. That's a lot for what is essentially, I would say, top 10 player in the NBA. With that as well, to note, Jay Crowder has now been traded from Brooklyn. He went to the Milwaukee Bucks. That trade gave Brooklyn 5 first-round picks because it was a 3-team deal. And Indiana is receiving Serge Ibaka, Jordan Nwora, George Hill, and a second-round pick. So multiple moves. Multiple moves within a move. So a lot here, but obviously the big first and foremost point about all this It's Kevin Durant's going to Phoenix. Brooklyn, obviously, whatever happened, happened. Their talk didn't go through. What do you think about this trade, what it does for Phoenix? What do you think about what it does for Brooklyn? I mean, your thoughts on the whole spiel of this deal?
Well, wow. Sums it up in one word.
I'd say so.
Yeah. I would say this probably makes Phoenix the leader in the West. As long as Durant's healthy and everybody's healthy and they're out there playing, they have a much thinner bench now.
Mm-hmm.
But Jay Crowder wasn't even playing for them. To get a guy like Durant and add him to what they have, they're going to be very tough to beat.
Yeah.
Very tough to beat.
Absolutely.
And this move signifies a complete rebuild for the Brooklyn Nets.
Mm-hmm.
They have Ben Simmons, your favorite player in the world, which doesn't. There he is. He doesn't do much.
No, he never really does.
They really I understand they've traded a lot of first round picks to get some of these guys in there in the first place.
Yes.
At this, you have to say that that was a complete failure.
Yeah.
For what they tried to do there. Complete failure.
Yeah.
And they really kicked the can down the road with these picks, 2028, 2029. Like, this rebuild might take a long time for them.
No, absolutely.
They may go through a stretch of, like, really, really poor basketball. Bottom of the barrel. Until they make it down to get some more of those first round picks.
Yeah. No, I mean, you think about this team, right? Or with this Brooklyn team and what they put together. I mean, Harden, Irving, Durant, that whole group. I think I saw they played less than 20 games together.
Right.
As a group, which is insane. Like, you got all that talent and they only played a handful of games together. Like, that blows my mind that they never could get on the court at the same time. But obviously, guys got hurt, whatever the case was. But still, like, it's just, of course, chemistry was never there. They never were together. So
it was definitely not what they envisioned when bringing Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden in there.
Absolutely not. No.
And do you think, I got a question for you, right? Because I heard them talk about it on the radio this morning. Do you think James Harden was onto something when he was like, I want the hell out of here because this is going to be jacked up?
It's interesting because I think back to the days with OKC, right? And they weren't going to pay him. And he seemed, and that was the whole thing was like apparently they weren't going to pay him. But like now I hear from now with him exiting from to go to Philly and everything, I remember people were talking about that and being like, was he onto something with KD and Russ beforehand in OKC? And now, is he onto something with Brooklyn? And now I've heard kind of the same thing too. And it's like, maybe he was. I mean, look,
because he took less money to go to Philly, and he's playing really well.
Absolutely, and they're cruising right now in the East, and they're third or second place right now in the East. Like, they're right there.
Yeah,
and they're playing well, and he's taken kind of a more reserved role as the playmaking point guard that passes the ball more, but it's working. But I think you're onto something. I think he was onto something that this team was going to just fall apart. I mean, you can tell, and I think a lot of us could see that, right? Kyrie Irving is a very kind of abrasive in his own
difficult human.
Yeah, difficult human being, if you will. Harden in his own right can sometimes be a little bit rough around the edges. Durant certainly is a guy who kind of can get in his feelings a little bit at times. If you haven't seen his burner accounts,
he can be a little surly.
Yes, and I think for this move, it's a giant move. It's great for Phoenix. I don't know how much this is going to necessarily move the needle for them. I know it's moved it a lot in Vegas. In terms of if this is going to bring them a championship, I don't know. I thought it was funny that after this trade happens, like hours later, I'm seeing the reports that say that Phoenix is offered for John Collins, and I go, what can they offer?
Right.
What else do they have?
Right.
I thought all their draft picks were just done by this point, but no, apparently there's still more, I guess. I don't know, but if they would have gotten John Collins, I mean, that that team immediately, I think, shoots up to the top as a favorite.
Yeah, can you imagine? I understand Ayton hasn't been playing all that well to
Right.
like what he should be.
Yes, he's not the number 1 overall pick he was.
But add Collins down low with him.
Yeah.
And then being able to separate them in lineups as well.
Absolutely.
And then being able to separate Booker and Durant at times in lineups. And you stagger those lineups, and they have a really good head coach that can do those things.
Yeah.
So it could be scary. If they play it right, I think they're going to be very tough to beat.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Torrey Craig, I believe, is the guy that will be subbing in as their 2 or their 3 at this point. I believe he'll be playing more of that 3. Durant will probably be more of your stretch 4. That lineup, though, I mean, if it works, right? If it works,
Right.
you're talking about 2 guys who can score 25-plus a game easy in Durant and Booker, not to mention what Durant gives you in rebounds and even in assists. Craig's a defensive stopper. We've seen him do it before against some of the better guys. Chris Paul is an all-around great point guard. You know, he's not the scoring guy anymore.
When healthy.
When healthy,
Yeah.
yes, when healthy. But
you got to save some of him for the playoffs.
I was gonna say, and that's what this move I think helps them do is they
Yeah.
can say, you know what, kind of load manage him a little bit, throw out some Cameron Payne because now we got a guy that can take the pressure off of Paul, and for Ayton now that takes pressure off of him too because it's like just rebounds and putbacks, man. Like you don't got to do much, and,
Right.
and occasionally get a block. We're not asking a lot for you, so it'll be interesting. Their bench though is very weak now. It's not looking good, so they're gonna need to do a little
Right.
bit more digging, but it's a bold move. It's a bold move for Philly, and I'm
Hit the buyout market and see what they can pull off the scrap heap.
and there's going to be a lot of guys out there. We know there's going to be some guys that right now are fixing their buyouts as we speak. So I'm fascinated by this, and I can't wait to
Yeah.
see how this plays out because Phoenix has kind of been a little bit in the dumps lately. They've kind of been a little bit down, but boy, if there was ever a move that could pick a team up and possibly put them right back in that fight, I would say this is that move.
Yeah.
This is that move, but
I think this worked out really well for Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Getting Crowder.
that's a great
he's
move.
he's a nasty player. He plays hard. He's really good on defense. He can
Yeah.
knock down some threes to an already pretty good defensive team.
Yeah,
Adding a
absolutely.
player like him, they're going to be tough to beat too.
Yeah,
And Not to mention Crowder's been on many playoff teams,
yes,
and when they've been in contention with
Absolutely.
the Suns team.
a lot of
with,
experience.
Utah he was with Utah before.
I believe so.
The Nuggets at one
Yes.
time, maybe. Like he's been all over the place.
Absolutely, he's a journeyman, but
Yeah.
he's the journeyman that everybody wants because of that defensive prowess.
Yep.
And that 3-point stand-up shot, like he can hit that every time.
He like I said, nasty player. He'll get in. He's got no problem getting in somebody's face.
Yeah,
And stepping up to their big whoever. Who's your
Absolutely.
big guy? I got you.
yeah, he'll take him down. He'll knock him down a peg.
Yeah.
He'll Dennis Rodman that dude. So I'm impressed. Milwaukee. I'm really impressed with that. I mean, a lot of teams came out of this on top. I mean, even Brooklyn. Brooklyn gets a lot of picks out of this.
Yeah.
That's a future for you. That's a future builder for the Brooklyn Nets. But it's just interesting how you built the super team, you tried it, but obviously
This is
within
the
a
second-
year.
This is the second time.
Yeah, yes, the
Chris
second,
Paul, or
Yes.
not Chris Paul, Paul Pierce.
right?
Kevin
Paul Pierce,
Garnett.
Kevin Garnett, Andre Johnson, Deron
yeah.
Williams, and let's not forget they had the first iteration of that, which was they drafted Brooke Lopez and they got Chris Humphries in the draft as well, and then they signed Gerald Wallace to insane money and Andre Johnson and Deron Williams that started that whole thing, and then they made that damn trade for Durant or Garnett and Pierce, and
Yeah.
that didn't work out either. So
And gave up a ton for them.
yeah,
So clearly, maybe they should try and go a different route.
yeah, it's
Or have somebody else making these decisions.
Yeah. You know what's just interesting, though? It just seems like wherever Ben Simmons go, basketball dies. And he almost went to the Clippers, apparently. They made an offer. So close. So very, very
I
close.
think they're probably happy they didn't get him.
I don't think anybody I think if this says anything, nobody wants to play with Simmons.
Yeah.
I think that just says a lot. So maybe he's the problem. Maybe he's the problem. All right. Well, outside of that, there was another big move that obviously took place just as we ended the show, because of course this does happen.
Yep.
Russell Westbrook, no longer a Laker, in a 3-team deal, including the Utah Jazz and the Minnesota Timberwolves. A huge swap took place. The Lakers will be receiving D'Angelo Russell, guard Malik Beasley, and forward Jared Vanderbilt, who all have been playing pretty well and are pretty good pieces to add for the Lakers. Meanwhile, for the Jazz, they get Toscano Anderson, Damian Jones. They get the Lakers 2027 first-round pick, but it is protected. And then Minnesota is getting Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Mike Conley, and 3 second-round draft picks in 24, 25, and 26. Now, the word is that the Utah Jazz also might be buying out Russell Westbrook's contract, which would make him a free agent. So, Drew, for you, I mean, a trade we kind of heard in the rumors that pulled the trigger. Your thoughts for everybody involved in this thing, from the players to the teams? How do you see this one playing out for everybody?
Well, it sounded like there's been some issues between Russell Westbrook and coaching staff
Yes.
recently. Clearly, there's been issues with him there since he got there.
Yes. Him
So-
and Darvin Ham apparently had a fight in the locker room the
Yes.
night of LeBron's breaking the record.
Right. And it sounded like this has just been leading up to this point,
Yeah.
and they finally had no choice, basically,
Absolutely.
to move on from it and do what they can. So I think D'Angelo Russell's an upgrade for them.
Yeah.
Like, he's been there before.
Right.
It's been a long time.
It's been since 2013, 14.
Having some, and when he
Yeah.
had his issues
Right.
there. But this is a different guy now. This is
Yes.
a different player.
Mhm.
Say what you want about LeBron. He's a leader.
Absolutely.
So I think that it's going to help. And having that upgrade for them there, plus getting a couple guys, Beasley's a pretty solid player.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
like you said, Vanderbilt playing well as well.
Yeah. He can play that small ball 5 and
Yeah.
that 4. Excellent.
Utah, I think they're just trying to get rid of some pieces and get some more picks.
Yes.
So, is what it is for them.
Right.
They're playing above where they should be this year.
Yeah.
For
Absolutely.
what they're giving up and what they're trading away the last 2 years,
Yeah.
they're playing way above what they should be. Minnesota, I think it's just we need to get some of these picks back. We gave up for Rudy Gobert. We're not getting what we got for him, but
Right.
it was weird, the multiple stacked up second round picks from a lot of these teams that, like, in these straight three second round picks, 5 second round picks.
Yeah, a lot
for
of
different
second
trades.
round picks were going. I don't
It was kind of weird to me. It's something I don't really recall seeing before.
No, this was
happening.
the first, I
Yeah.
think. And from my recollection, I haven't seen this many second round picks. Then again, everybody's trading their firsts already. So,
Yeah.
like, Utah and Oklahoma City seem to have everybody's first round picks for the next 10 years.
Over the last couple years, just the amount of first round picks and now second round picks this year that have been given up for players.
Yeah.
Which I get makes sense because the NBA it's a lot tougher to draft studs in the NBA compared to like the NFL.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So it's a lot harder. Like, free agency is much bigger to build your team in the NBA than NFL.
Right.
NFL, you have to build your team through the draft.
Yeah.
That is the way to do it, while piecing some really nice free agents in. For the NBA, you got to go out and you got to pay for these guys when they're free agents or make trades for them.
Yeah.
So I think that's where a lot of that's coming in, is like, oh, well, we need to give up a ton for this guy.
Right.
So all in all, I think out of this one, the Lakers win out on this 3-team trade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is okay.
Yeah. Right.
Cool.
It's one that doesn't necessarily, like, move the needle too much because I think we all kind of saw this one coming.
Yeah. And the next move we're going to talk about with the Lakers getting more
Yes.
is this is all of the things together included with this next one. I think it's not I like what they've done. I
Yeah.
like the moves they made. They bettered their team.
Absolutely. Well, and speaking of better their team, I mean, I'll kind of mix this in too. Yes, they did make a trade as well. Patrick Beverley went bye-bye again. Seems like it always seems to happen with him. But they did get Mo Bamba. They added a second-round pick, and they did get Mo Bamba. So now LA's going to be playing that all over the place. So I trust me, somebody
Your guy.
Oh, well, trust me, I got an email from somebody being like, they traded away your man. And I was like, I know. And you sent me the leak, so I thank you.
A guy that we had talked in the offseason about hoping that the Bulls go after.
Absolutely. And still, even to this point, there was a lot of talk of, will the Bulls maybe make a move of possibly seeing if you could switch off Vooch, who wants to go back to Orlando, and say, well, then if we can do this, maybe if you guys want to give us Bamba, because it doesn't seem like he's happy there. He wants more
His
playing
minutes
time.
were cut.
Yes. And he is a good, when he plays his per 36, he's about as good as any center out there, and he's a really good three-point shooter in that fact as well too. So why the Lakers pulled the trigger? It's obvious. The guy adds a lot more when he's starting the full 30-plus minutes.
And
that's
that's
another piece.
And to me, like, that's not too much to give up.
No, that's a perfect amount, in fact.
For a young player.
Yes. 23,
I like
24.
I like the move.
Yeah.
I think that's a great move.
I think that the way the Lakers have built this right now, I'm not saying championship,
Right.
but they certainly could be in the fight for that, not the last spot, but, well, the last spot in the playoffs, I should say. They'll be, I think, in that play-in tournament talk now. LeBron, like you said, is a great leader. They didn't give up Anthony Davis at all. They still have him, and when he's healthy, like we've said, he's a top 10 player. Vanderbilt gives, when.
And big if.
Right, but getting Mo Bamba gives you that backup center or a larger 4, right? You get Vanderbilt, who can play your 4 and a small ball 5 potentially. Russell can run the point. We've seen him do it before. He did lead that Brooklyn team, remember, back in the day, with just Dinwiddie and a few other guys to a playoff run. Let's not forget that. Kenny Atkinson had that team running for a while there. And then they did the whole Kyrie Irving thing, and as we know how that happened. So
Never should have fired Kenny Atkinson.
no, that should have never happened, and maybe the Bulls should have maybe made one more quick call. But we will get there. We will get there. But Lakers have done a great job. Timberwolves just need to kind of, I think, reset a little bit and hope that this thing works out. Really need this to work out now.
Yeah, you better hope and pray.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, look, meanwhile for Utah, they're rebuilding, right? And they've got the pieces. They've got Walker Kessler. They've got Ojabo. They've got, not Ojabo, Agbaji. They've got Markkanen. They've got all these young guys that they can easily build around. They've got 15 picks over the next 5 years or whatever it is. I think they can manage to find somebody. They might even trade for the number 1 pick this year. And guess what that means? They get to be the tallest team probably in the NBA.
I don't think anybody's given that up.
No, I wouldn't. If I were Houston or Orlando, or, you know what, scratch it. But if I were Detroit, let's be real, we probably know who's going to be the last team. If I were Detroit, no way you're giving up that pick.
And I heard something else that really chapped my ass. Orlando could end up with the first pick,
Yes.
get Wembanyama, and then end up with the Bulls pick at like 5 or 6.
Yep.
And have 2 picks in the first 5, 6 picks.
Yep.
Yeah.
That checks out.
But we have Vooch.
We got Vooch. We got Vooch and Levine, and we're gonna get there here soon. So some other really quick ones. James Wiseman, obviously Golden State's kind of given up, and I called it a wise man decision for the Warriors. I think this kid is unfortunately going to be in the bust label. It's just not panning out. He can play well, but he's not as effective as they want him to be. They're sending him to Detroit. They did get a bunch of draft picks, though, in this. This was a 3-team deal. So they were able to also, in that pick as well, Houston got Danny Green, who came over from Memphis. Or excuse me, not that. I'm sorry. I'm getting all confused on this. But in that 3-team trade, obviously they were able to work out that deal. So they get the draft picks, they get rid of him, and then essentially they flip those picks over to Portland, and they get back Gary Payton II again. Get back their guy. So Drew, for these two they're smaller trades, but obviously it's kind of helping out the Warriors in a bit of a way. It's getting back somebody that they know and helped them along the way to their championship run last time.
Right.
What do you think about this move for all the teams kind of involved in this situation?
I think for the Warriors, I think at this point, moving on from Wiseman is just maybe, I don't know whether he needs a change of scenery or what, but he just hasn't lived up to the bill. I know he started out injured, so that didn't help his development in the pro league.
Yeah.
So maybe a place like Detroit where he can get more minutes and have
Mhm.
more opportunities. He can help develop his game some. And for a team like Detroit, who's garbage anyways,
Need all the help they can get.
Cade Cunningham's been out for the season,
Right.
so that's probably best player on the team.
Yeah.
And they drafted a really nice player. They got Jaden Ivey, right? I believe so.
Yes, they still have
So
Jaden
who's a
Ivey,
really
who's
nice-
a really nice player.
nice piece.
Yes.
So put all these things together. The draft this year, depending on where they pick, they might have something going for the future here.
Detroit could be really something special. If Cunningham's back healthy, if Jaden Ivey continues to grow,
That
if they land.
their whole situation could flip to a complete 180
Absolutely.
in one offseason.
Yes, and oh my God, that you don't need Victor. You don't, but I get it.
Yeah.
It's a smart move, I think, for the Warriors because Peyton does help set the pace a little bit coming off the
Good,
bench. They
really
need
good
that guy,
defender for them.
just like his father.
Yeah,
in every possible
Yeah.
way.
and that's what he was huge in for them in winning their championship.
Yes, and look, the Warriors are finding, I think, a little bit more of their rhythm. So I think they're looking at this saying it's adding a piece back. They play the small ball style anyway, so they're getting back a guy who they know they can play with, who can add a little bit of something. Give Jordan Poole, I think, a little bit more of a break because I think he's trying to do a little bit too much. I think it's a great move for everybody in this. Like you said, change the scenery for Wiseman. Maybe more minutes in Detroit. Get a chance to play a little bit more. Maybe he finds himself. Who knows? I mean, at this point, I would say, personally, I think he's no better than like Ayton is right now. Like 18
Yeah.
points, 10 rebounds, maybe a block a game, which is nice, but I don't think you're winning a championship with that. I think you're probably going around the league at that point,
Right.
jumping around. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, and the Gary Payton thing was good. And then real quick, too, is another quick move I just thought was so interesting is that John Wall, he goes to the Clippers, and we think he's going to stick there. Well, not everything apparently sticks to the wall, including John Wall, because he's going back to Houston. Yes. He's going back to Houston in a trade that delivers the Clippers his old teammate Eric Gordon. In that trade as well, Danny Green, as I mentioned before, is coming from Memphis and going to Houston, as will be a 2023 first round draft pick swap rights, which means they get the better because Clippers own the Milwaukee Bucks pick. They get the better of the Clippers or Milwaukee Bucks draft picks. This is so convoluted, but this is how this stuff works, folks. They work out their deals, and it gets interesting. But Memphis also then gains a three-point shooter, nice little forward in Luke Kennard, which is something they've been looking for to help stretch the floor for themselves. So, Drew, just real quick for you, John Wall going back to Houston. I mean, Gordon's and Clippers, and then Kennard. I know this is kind of a nut. Yep.
You ready?
Hit it with it, please.
Don't care. Jay Cutler don't care.
Jay Cutler don't
That's
care.
a Jay Cutler don't care.
Okay. Wow.
It doesn't.
It's not a move the needle move. It's just interesting.
It's a nice move for Memphis getting a shooter.
Mhm.
That's something that they need to add a nice piece to their really good team already.
Yeah.
So other than that, what's John Wall doing for anybody? Eric Gordon can shoot some
Yeah.
still, but other than that,
Right. Yeah, it's I mean, listen, I put this on here because it's probably the best of the moves that were left in the, because otherwise, I mean, look, of the other moves that were made, I like the Josh Hart move. Like, if you're gonna say like what other trades were out there, which is where we just get into this, the other trades that were made. The only other one I would note, Josh Hart going to the Knicks, gets to play with Jalen Brunson. That's awesome, but I also think he adds something to the Knicks as well. Like he adds something to what New York needs, which is another guard. Take the pressure off, run the point, be the shooting guard. That's something actually there they need.
For a guy in Reddish who didn't want to be there anymore anyway.
Yeah, he was fed up with it. Thibs was not using him at all. Josh Hart is definitely more of his player anyways. He likes that two guard, work the guys, right? They feed off each other. That's more of his style, it seems anyways. But obviously there were some non-trades that were made.
Uh-huh.
I think we'll just focus on the one.
You
team.
mean non-trades like the one of two teams who didn't make a damn move? One of two teams who's dog crap and didn't make a move?
I mean, I can't even say Toronto because
one of two teams who's got like one shooter on their team and they didn't make a move?
Yeah, because I can't even say because Toronto made a move for Jakob Poeltl.
Yeah.
So I didn't see that coming, but okay, but
That would be the Chicago Bulls. They didn't make a damn move. They did
Yes.
nothing. They sat with their thumbs in their butts.
that is
So I'm disappointed, clearly a little pissed off.
Mhm.
I don't exactly know what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Clearly your team is 2 games under 500 now. Not looking at even a play-in.
Right.
Vooch is a free agent in the offseason. Are you going to re-sign him? He's going to command a nice deal still.
Yeah.
Not sure that I really want to give him that money.
They're saying 4 years, 118 million, I think it is. As a 32-year, was he 30, 33, 34, something like that? He's not a young pup, I know that.
Right.
Maybe 32, I don't know.
I think at this point we know what he brings to the team
Yeah.
unless there's better pieces around him. Are they going to try and trade Zach in the offseason? Are they going to try and trade DeMar in the offseason?
Yeah.
There was talks with the Knicks about moving Zach there, but
Yeah. It was R.J. Barrett and I'm blanking on it now. I can't remember the other piece, but R.J. Barrett, someone else, and like picks was essentially like the move they were making.
and usually Tibbs, when he makes a deal, usually tries to win that deal.
Absolutely.
So can understand why they didn't take the deal
Sure.
or didn't take what they were offering, but I don't know. This team's in a tough spot. It's a very tough spot. And when you stay pat and you're only one of 2 teams in the league,
Yeah.
did I mention that? One of 2 teams that didn't make a move? Yeah, it's frustrating. Very frustrating.
What do you say? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, because the thing is like to separate myself away from the fan. There is, I mean, even as the fan, there's no surprise in this at all. Like, this is what the Bulls do, it seems, so much. But it's so, the fan in me is kind of like still shocked because we saw this team at the deadline numerous times now for the last few years looking to make moves. And this was a year where you would think, pull the trigger. Which way are you going? Are you trying to go up or are you trying to go down? And because you do nothing, then we get nothing as the fans. We get nothing as NBA fans in general. The Bulls feed nothing. And the worst part is we're not hearing from Karnisovas. We're not hearing from Eversley. We're not hearing from the men in charge. So we're not asking for full transparency. But at least give us a window to kind of look in and see what you're doing. Give us some insight into the plan. If the plan is you want to try and push for a title, then would you not want to make a move for that said title?
You would think so.
You would think so. But it doesn't feel like they even knew if they wanted to do that.
That all that patience we preach, which is the right move.
Yes.
It is the right move.
Patience is
But
fine.
The patience is worn very thin with this
Absolutely.
group. We have been patient.
Mhm.
We've seen the moves you've made, been happy about some, and then in a year and a half, they've fallen off.
Yes.
And they're not what we had been shown in the previous season.
No, it's a lot of the same nonsense.
So yes, you've shown us what your plans are somewhat,
Yes.
but we don't fully know because, like you said, we haven't heard anything from them. So patience is very thin.
Yeah.
Like, at what point do you pack up and move on from these guys now?
Right. And now you've got a difficult option, as I've understood, that Vooch, you're going to have to figure out what to do with him. What
Sounds
to do
like
with Kobe White, what to do with Io.
Sounds like Zach and Billy aren't seeing eye to eye.
no,
and aren't,
which
so-
shocker.
yeah.
I mean,
So it's like, yeah, this team's a mess right now.
yeah, it which is
Shocking,
yeah,
right?
it is, yeah, shocking. I know. Well, it's just from where they were last year, obviously, even how they finished. Still, you felt like there was still something there. And sorry, I just threw up a little bit in my mouth from this whole thing. From the off season to this point, you just go, what happened? And maybe it's very possible, I guess, that maybe not everything was great in the land of of the Chi-Town, right? Maybe not everything was so great here in the Windy City where we thought everybody was buddy-buddy. Maybe that was just for the cameras. I don't know, but it definitely feels like Zach doesn't like being second fiddle. He wants to be the leader. They got paid, so but he's not playing like the leader. And Vooch doesn't seem like he's happy here anymore, even though it seemed like he was willing to take that role of being the under the basket guy. And and what is Kobe's all streaky, and Io, has to take over because Lonzo's once again not going to play all season. And where's Simonovic? And you just and Williams, and you just have all these questions as a fan or as an NBA fan, and it just leads to nowhere.
Moves that have not worked out.
You end up like, if anybody knows this reference, it was a little dated, but Animal House, the moment where the band's just running into the wall, that's exactly what it feels like. We're just running into the wall. We're not getting anywhere. We're just stuck. We're just stuck as fans, as the team is. Like, there's so much wrong with this situation.
It is. It's like Groundhog's Day with this team.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
Even with the old regime, they, on one hand, they tell us we're going to get younger and more athletic, and then they sign a bunch of old players like Rondo and Dwayne Wade when they're past their time. And now you get AK and Eversley in here, and they're going to rebuild this team.
Right.
And they start doing that. They get some young picks. They get rid of the players that they think aren't going to cut it, which turns out to be wrong.
Right, yes.
Because marketing and why can't I think of his name? Wendell Carter Jr.
Yeah.
Look like they're playing better than the guys we have.
Absolutely.
And then they go out and get guys like Vooch and DeRozan, who aren't past their prime, but still longer in the tooth than keep breaking it down and rebuilding, getting those picks, keep breaking it down. You give up those first-round picks for a guy like Vooch.
Yep.
And it's not worth it.
No. It's really this is the situation as a fan. It sucks.
It sucks.
It sucks. And you hate seeing it. You would hope that with new regime would be new results, but I mean, we talked about this. Clearly, it seems like nothing will change until Daddy Reinsdorf probably kicks the bucket, because you would think his son would have more control on this thing. But to me, it's becoming a little bit more clear. Who knows? But it just feels like this is the hand of Jerry and not of his kid being the CEO and the man in charge like we thought it was supposed to be. It just doesn't feel like that at all. So
I don't know. Like I get it because it's like so similar to what has happened in the past, no matter who was in this GM and president role.
Yeah.
It seems so similar. But again, these guys are picking. They're AK and Eversley. They're the ones getting in there and making these deals and picking these players. And it's just,
they could be handcuffed for all we know, too.
Right.
I mean,
there's no way to really know, but like, man, why is it so?
Why can't we just have one press conference or something?
Why is it so similar to things from the past?
Yes. Like we say here a lot of times, why can't we have nice things?
Yeah.
Seriously. So, this I will say this overall for this trade deadline, didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
Really kind of stole the thunder of the Super Bowl almost a little bit. Came at the right time, so we get to go into a nice little weekend where we're gonna have a fun Super Bowl. So I'd say with that, I think that's a close for the NBA trade deadline. Overall, had fun with it, Drew.
Yeah, it was exciting thing. A lot of things. I wouldn't say a lot of things, but things that
certainly shakes up the NBA.
Definitely didn't expect to happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, like we said, every team but two made trades. So it's exciting for all those teams that do things.
Yeah, absolutely. And
make moves.
I'm
improve their teams.
Yes.
I
not feel better, but is there a cleanse a little bit to some degree?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll buy a nice bottle of whiskey for you, buddy.
Ooh. I could use a drink.
So could I.
Old fashions. Let's do it.
Well, folks, obviously with that's the trade deadline. What do you guys think about that? Let us know. Obviously, big moves. We want to hear from you guys as always on YouTube and Twitch and at our email as well. So we're just going to head right into it because we already kind of talked about it. Because this weekend, it is time for the big game, folks.
Big one.
It is Super Bowl time. Yes, that's right. And it is time for our final pick. Pièce de résistance. Super Bowl's here. And Drew, we're here for it. Are you ready to give our final pick
Oh yeah.
of the NFL season?
I'm excited for this game.
I can't wait. I'm working extra so I can just take off Sunday and hang out with my boy Tom and my godson and just eat food and hopefully make $25,000.
That'd be nice.
That would be nice right now. So here it is, folks. We got the Chiefs. They're taking on the Eagles. The spread right now is Philly still holding at 1.5. The over-under is at 51 now. It actually jumped up an extra point. So, Drew, for your final pick of this season, Chiefs versus Eagles, who you got?
This is tough. Okay, this is really tough. I think the Philadelphia Eagles have the overall better team.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you pick against Mahomes? It's
hard.
It's really hard to.
Yeah.
The high ankle sprain should be out for 4 to 6
Please.
weeks. Plays the next game, and we're just gonna win.
Yeah.
No big deal.
It's no problem. I'll throw it like it's nothing.
Wide receiver injuries. Who needs top tier wide receivers when you have Patrick Mahomes
Apparently.
and Travis Kelce?
Yeah.
Oh, back spasms. No big deal. We're gonna go out there and score 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
We're
It's
gonna
like
win
it's nothing.
and go to another Super Bowl. Another one.
Unbelievable.
Another one.
Third one in their careers. And what? Kelsey's just hit 30. Mahomes is just 27.
It's tough picking against the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid,
Yep.
but I gotta go with the Eagles.
Okay.
I gotta go the Eagles here. I'm gonna say a point. I think this one is tight down the wire. It's gonna be back and forth and back and forth. Should be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take Philly by 1, and I'm going over.
Okay.
I'm going over. While Chiefs have played really good defense in the playoffs,
Yes.
and they usually do,
Absolutely.
Philly has a very good defense. I think they're going to play good defense. They're still going to score points.
Yeah. I'm gonna take the Eagles too. I agree. I mean,
We're probably going to be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. I agree with you on a lot of that's pretty much everything. I mean, the Eagles do have the better roster. I think the way their game is structured too, right? It's a lot of running the ball, RPOs, things like that. That will allow them to be able to control the clock. I mean, you have 3 guys who are running the ball at any given time. 4 when you add in Jalen Hurts, and then you add in guys like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. I'm sure they'll have something up their sleeve for those guys too. That's more guys you have to worry about. Like, they have playmakers everywhere on that field, from Goddard to even Watkins. Like, they all can do something. So, but like you said, it's hard to pick against Patrick Mahomes. But I do think the Eagles, unlike other teams in the past I've seen, like the Titans are the ones I always remember, who ran the ball so well against them. The Chiefs took the lead, and then they tried to play catch-up. If the Eagles, even if the Chiefs do get the lead, I understand it's the last game, like you want to maybe start throwing the ball. But I think the Eagles will be one to say, no, let's just stick with our game plan, keep killing clock, and let's force Mahomes to have to make the plays for them. Because we saw in that Tampa game, when they played Tampa Bay, they forced Mahomes to be the man. They forced him to be the playmaker because he couldn't throw the ball down the field to Tyreek Hill the way he wanted to. He didn't really have a secondary option with McCole Hardman and all those other guys. It was Travis Kelce, and that was it. And then Edwards-Helaire when he was running the ball. So I like the Chiefs, yes, offensively.
Yeah.
But their defense, I mean, Chris Jones is maybe their most elite guy. George Karlaftis has come on a little bit more here at the end, but he's still young. That secondary just like it. No Tyrann Mathieu hurts them so much because of the fact that he's a ball hawk, and he's a tactician out there in center field as your safety. Not having him hurts them so much. So I'm gonna say Philly. Um, I'm gonna say Philly by a point because I'm gonna say 27-26 for Philly. Because then this way the Chiefs 1.5 carries over and I get the push and then I win the money. So I just really want the money. I honestly, I think at the end of the day, both of us can say whoever wins this is probably going to be a really good game.
Yeah.
This is probably going to be an incredible game. I said yesterday or Tuesday on Blow the Whistle, something's going to happen. I think in this game where we go, wow, that's one to remember, right? Something like a Philly special or, a big, long touchdown pass.
Well, it's actually, I saw something on an article on Facebook maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But it was when Tobe was on the Bears.
Yes.
And that Devin Hester, Johnny Knox, that fake return that went for a touchdown that wasn't a touchdown.
Yes.
But should have been.
Yes, absolutely.
Tobe said apparently Tobe still has that in his repertoire.
Oh, good.
So potentially maybe see something exciting there. I think we're gonna get more. I know you touched on you think the Eagles are gonna stick to their game and stick to the run.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is going to be a game where they might air it out with Hurts a little more as well.
That's true. I mean, when you've got three of maybe the fastest, this might be one of the fastest receiving corps I've ever seen in my time watching the NFL. Brown, Smith, and Watkins is like a track star. That guy could probably run in the Olympics if he wanted to. And then you got Goddard, who's, I would say, top 10 tight end. I mean, come on, he's talented. Yeah. So I could see that. I've seen like Devonta Smith is now becoming a favorite for Super Bowl MVP.
It's going to depend on how's that shoulder.
Yeah.
How's that shoulder feeling? Can you cut it loose?
Exactly.
That's a lot of time to rest here. So
yeah. But this
I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
Absolutely. And this Eagles defense, very good, which is why I'm going to say this hits the under. I would say just under, like a 48 maybe, 47, something like that. Bradbury and Slay and all those guys.
Didn't you say 27-26?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah.
It's over.
It's over. Sorry. I'll say it hits the over, so I get my...
Do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say it hits the over, so... Well, I mean, listen, you got two guys out there, very talented, so it's going to be hard to contain both of them.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this one. I don't know... I can't tell you who to put your bets on, folks. Just do whatever you want to do. Don't blame us. If you win money, though, we're more than happy to take some.
Just bet on us. Send us money.
Yeah, exactly. And if the Chiefs do win by any chance, we would all like to see Sky Moore.
Has nothing to do with the signed rookie card.
Absolutely. Well, TJ, I mean, it is the Super Bowl. You're in the back here with us, man. Do you want to give your predictions on how you think the Super Bowl is going to go real quick?
Sure. So my guess is going to be, because it's always a guess.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to say Chiefs by 3 only because I think it's going to be one of those last little runs. Like Mahomes is going to get something, and it's going to be one of those 50-yard, Hail Mary, kick it in the air, and it goes through just barely or maybe even a little doink over. And I'm going to say the over by, I'm saying over by maybe, I'm saying like 52. Like, I'm not saying it's going to be
just over.
Just over.
Okay.
Right.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we have our picks locked in there, folks. So without further ado, that's going to do it for the Super Bowl picks. That's going to do it for the NFL picks and predictions. And that's going to do it for the show. And absolutely. And it has been a doozy of one. So I hope that we don't have anything this hectic ever again where I have to clear out an entire already set show and put in all new stuff. Thank you so much, NBA. You really make my day. I should have known. But as always, I'm joined by the wonderful and delectable Mr. Drew Gwillem. Drew, thank you as always for being here, man. It's a pleasure. Glad we were able to talk this today, man. Really am.
Yeah, it was it was an exciting end to the trade deadline. So it was fun to dive into that a little bit, and not so fun on other parts. But
Yes,
just
of
talking
course.
about just certain teams not doing anything.
Yep.
They did nothing.
Yeah, and the sad thing is we're gonna have more to talk about them
Yeah.
for, but
Maybe they'll hit the buyout market
Well-
and gather something off the scrap heap.
we'll see. Well, I mean, we didn't mention it, but there's the Westbrook, there's John Wall talk, there's all it's a lot of the same nonsense we're gonna hear from a lot of teams, but
Pretty much.
we'll get into that at a later date. Drew, let the people know where they can find you, listen to you, all that good stuff, amigo.
Oh, you can find me right here on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And check me out on Instagram at d.gwil25 and Facebook at Drew Gwillem.
Absolutely, guys. Make sure to give him some follow, give him some likes, give him some love. He deserves it. He does a lot of great work for us. So we've got stuff in the works. So be on the lookout for that. We've got some good things coming for you very soon because he's the class president after all, and the class president needs his presidential office at some point. So
Vote for Drew is a vote for you.
absolutely, guys. Make sure to vote for Drew. Hashtag vote for Drew. So we've got a couple of emails that are like, you are the president. So you are class president now.
Thank you.
That is official.
I
So,
appreciate you.
guys, obviously, real quick too, our boy TJ Knacker in the bag. TJ, as always, man, thank you for everything you do, man. Appreciate it. And hanging in with us even when things get very frustrating. You are the man, multiple times over. Really appreciate it, man. Please let the people know where they can find you and listen to you and all that good stuff, amigo, as well.
Well, you can find me online, Facebook, even though I don't like you, Facebook, right now. You can find me at
You and me
TJ
both.
Knacker.
They don't like us either.
They don't like us either. I think we can't find out why.
You know what? We don't really care what they think of us.
All right,
Opinions
well,
are like beeholes. Everyone has one.
Absolutely.
exactly. And you can find
They
me on
all
Instagram,
stink.
Knack300. And you can find me being in the back here for Below the Whistle and for X-Bomb.
Absolutely. Guys, make sure to go watch Unpack with the Knack. Make sure to go follow TJ. It's an incredible show. He's got great stuff. We've been pulling stuff like crazy, so please keep on the lookout for that. And if you guys want to follow me, I'm at The Fluffy Guru on Twitter. I'm also at Boomgoo Captain on Instagram as well. If you want to see any more of our show, well, Facebook's not working right now. Occasionally you can find it once in a while, but till then, we are on YouTube. We are also on Twitch. I'll add Twitch on there as well, where you guys can see us going live on the live stream, 5:30-ish, 6:30-ish Central Time. We're doing the thing. We're going live on theirs all the time. Again, we will let you know about FB at a later date. Also, too, while you're on there, make sure to go check out our social media at Instagram and Twitter at XBomb Sports. And if you have any questions or comments, hit us up at xvsportsofficial@gmail.com. We appreciate the questions. I know a lot of you guys, some of you guys sent in those questions about the trade deadline, which weren't really questions, I got to say. They were more just statements and too much profanity. No, I'm just kidding. More profanity, please. We enjoy that. But yes, make sure to send your questions there as well, guys. The podcast stuff, we got Blow the Whistle, radio side. We're going to go live Monday. Boy, this ought to be fun. I can't wait to hear what David has to say about this, and Tyler. This is going to be fun. 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time on SportsTownChicago.com. Also live on Twitch at SportsTown Shy. So be sure to go follow us there as well. We will follow it here soon on the Twitch. Might even have abilities to maybe share the Twitch streams on there. We'll see. We're working that out. Also, too, see him on the TV side. We're doing it every Tuesday, 3 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Sorry, I'm getting hungry here. I almost wanted to eat my tongue. Blow the Whistle again, yeah, on the TV side. And while you're watching on the TV side on Wednesday before we go live for X-Bomb Sports, check out our boy Unpack with the Knack and look at that logo. That's a wonderful logo. That is done by our very own Jake Bradley, our man Jake Bradley doing a great thing. Yes, folks, Unpack with the Knack. You guys can find that every Wednesday at 3 o'clock p.m. Central Time, just before the X-Bomb Sports live show, where you can see us pull some goodies, some really fine cards. We've been, like I said, we've been getting some really good scores lately out of them. So, and some of them have been absolutely strange, and I love it. I want more ref cards. I want Muscle Daddy ref, and I want Phil Luckett ref. I want all
Big
of them.
Papa Pump.
Absolutely. I want it all, baby. Oh, please. I can't wait. I can't wait to do more with it. And we got some more stuff coming along the way outside of sports, too, with that as well. Also, real quick, too, Brandon Januska, 94.3 WMKR. If you're down in Taylorsville, go listen to him on the radio. You want to hear his podcast, Baseball Banter with Brandon, on Spotify, Odyssey, Anchor, iHeartRadio, all that good stuff. While you're on those sites, you can also check out Money Motivation with Hannah B, our very own Hannah Brummer, doing her thing on her own podcast that gets you positivity and gets you up during the day to help you out with Mondays. You can also check her out at 102.3 XLC, The Afternoon Drive, doing her radio thing, 3 to 7 p.m., so she's about to finish up here in an hour. And you can also check her out in the morning, killing it. I mean, killing it with the legendary Eddie Volkman at 96.7 The Star for the morning show at about 8 o'clock in the morning. So check that out, guys. They're doing a great job there. Again, she knows her sports now, but we're going to test her on that at some point soon. Trust me. While you're talking about sports here, too, yes, check out our boys at The Parlay. That's right, theparlay.com. It's Tony Lopez and former professional boxer and Chicago Bull Kendall Gill doing their thing, talking about everything in the fight game that's going on. Check it out at theparlay.com. And any help, tips, and tricks that you need for your fantasy football, go to the Fake Football Guys on YouTube. That's at AskFFG on Twitter. You can find them at Fake Football Guys on YouTube as well. Just punch it in, and you'll find them going live. Check out all the shows they got going down. And that's going to do it for us here, ladies and gentlemen. This was, a good show. I'm glad to be back. I hope you all enjoy your Super Bowl. Hope everybody's safe. Hope everybody enjoyed their trade deadline. Hope nobody pulled their hair out like I did. But I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you guys next week. And as always, much love. Peace out, Boom Crew.
Man, why do they?